Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hope Pedraza, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hey y'all, welcome back to the show. This is one of 5 parts of a series that I did on Facebook about mineral balancing for your human design type. So in this 5-part series, I'm diving into each of the human design types, what common chronic symptoms show up per your not self theme for each type, and how really staying in that not self theme affects us physically. So, what organs and glands it's really affecting when we're stuck in the not self theme. And then how to use mineral balancing to address all of that, specifically mineral balancing. I'll talk a little bit about vitamins. I'll probably mention some gut health stuff in there, but the main focus is about mineral balancing. And so feel free to skip over this episode if this is not your type, unless you just want to learn about all the types, and that's cool too. Or if you have a friend or family member, but feel free to skip to your type. All of these are pretty bite-sized, so pretty short trainings, but at least gives you an idea of how your not self theme shows up physically in the body and how you can use minerals to help address the possible imbalances. Of course, like I always say, the common chronic symptoms that I talk about for each type, this is not an extensive list. This is not limited to that. There are obviously other issues that can happen in the body, but these are the most common, again, just based on how the specific not self theme affects the body and kind of just where the energy is flowing per the human design type. So let's jump in, enjoy, and let's get into this 5-part series. Today, I am kicking off my series about mineral balancing for your human design type. So since there are 5 human design types, we're going to do 5 parts to this series. And I'm going to be coming on live to talk a little bit about each of the different types, what mineral balancing looks like per human design type. So if you don't know about the importance of mineral balancing, you can go back to my previous videos. I've been doing kind of a series of videos leading up to this one, talking about why mineral balancing is so important, why this is the crucial foundational piece when we're trying to bring balance back to the body. So go back and listen to those. That's kind of a prequel to this. But I want to talk about how to really customize what mineral balancing looks like. Now, I will say this first and foremost, that to really customize your mineral balancing journey, it really starts with the functional labs that I do. And it's the mineral testing that I do is the hair tissue mineral analysis. And that's the best way to get the most customized protocol, right? Because it's looking at exactly what's happening in your body. But if we're not doing the labs, the next best thing, in my opinion, is looking at it per your human design, because this is so unique to you and so unique to your energy. And so I'm going to break this down into 5 parts, one for each of the human design types. And today I'm starting with manifestors. So when we're looking at your human design type, the important part that we're going to kind of bring out of this per type is your not self theme. Right? The not self theme is this sign that you're out of alignment, this sign that you're not following your strategy and authority. And it's kind of this compass to kind of get us back on the route that's meant for us, right? To be able to operate in a way that's more energetically aligned, allows us to move with more ease with our energy. So when we're feeling the not self theme, and this is kind of my mindset around putting human design together with the physical pieces like mineral balancing, we spend a lot of time acting in a way that we are not designed to be, right? And this is where we start to meet a lot of resistance. When we're living with that not self theme consistently, the resistance we're feeling in our world is the resistance that our body is feeling to our physical body. So it's going to start to bring things to the forefront. For the not self theme of a manifestor is anger. That's the not self theme. So for manifestors, a lot of times where this starts is because anger, this wasn't necessarily an emotion that was safe to feel as a child. And so their big ideas and their big vision, right? Manifestors are visionaries. So their big ideas, their bigness, their big
dreams were often questions met with skepticism. People didn't see them, people didn't get it, so they were shut down, or they just were, just told to just do what everybody else did and just to stay quiet. And so they kind of dimmed themselves. But this anger is kind of brooding under the surface, right? And according to traditional Chinese medicine, anger is an emotion that lives in the liver, and our liver is what's going to take the hit when this emotion gets stored in our body. So for manifestors, common chronic symptoms that show up because of this are going to be issues, inflammation, sluggishness that start in the liver. So these could look like things like hormonal issues, skin conditions, blood sugar dysregulation, high blood pressure, inflammation. I think I said inflammation. So and the inflammation really is just from toxicity, just not being able to release toxins because we have this sluggishness or imbalance in the liver. So when we're looking at addressing what's happening in a manifestor's body, this is kind of the lens we're looking at, these common chronic symptoms. Now, obviously, this is not the extensive list. There are other things that manifestors are going to deal with, but these are going to be the most common just from looking at it from this piece of this not self theme that is felt over and over again in the body and the emotions that get stored from that. It's the anger translates into what's happening in the liver. So we're looking at things like hormonal issues, inflammation, blood sugar dysregulation, high blood pressure. There are specific minerals that we want to address that correlate to these things. They're going to help with rebalancing these things. So first is the sodium and potassium balance, right? This is kind of this ratio to help with our nervous system. It's like the ratio that's helping our hydration within our cells. This is helping with overall functionality in the cells. It's going to help with healthy blood pressure. Sodium and potassium both help with these things. It's going to help with inflammation only because it's going to help how our cells are functioning. The other piece of this is magnesium. So I think that's the kind of the big three here. Magnesium is a big one. I've talked about magnesium a lot because it's one that is required by so many functions in the body, and it's so easily depleted in the body, which is why the majority of us are deficient in it. Magnesium has a lot of special roles in these common chronic symptoms that I just mentioned because, first of all, magnesium and calcium work together with blood sugar dysregulation. So if we're looking at issues with insulin, right? And our liver needs to function optimally to help with insulin. Our pancreas needs to function optimally for insulin, like to help with our blood sugar. Calcium and magnesium are kind of the cofactors for that. So calcium and magnesium work together with putting out and inhibiting the release of insulin in the body. So when our magnesium is depleted, it's going to kind of send our blood sugar on this roller coaster. The other piece of the magnesium puzzle is that this is a cofactor. Magnesium is a cofactor for a lot of different B vitamins that you need in order for your body to really detox optimally. B vitamins help with the detox processes in our liver. So, and this is just, again, this is not the extensive list. There's 500 plus other functions of magnesium in the body, but for our purposes here, we're talking about manifestors and anger as the emotion that's causing the imbalance in the body. Magnesium is going to be a big part of that. So the other few minerals we're going to look at, boron, and I know vitamin K isn't really a mineral, it's a vitamin, but boron and vitamin K are the other two I wanted to bring to the forefront, only because, again, calcium and magnesium work together to help with blood sugar regulation. We want the calcium to be in the right place in the body. Calcium is one of those that can show up in a hair, tissue, and mineral analysis, which is your hair, it's your tissue. We don't want our calcium in the tissues. Our calcium is a structural mineral. We want it in the bones and in the teeth. And so we want our calcium to be in the right place. Boron and vitamin K are these cofactors that basically helps do that. The other few I want to mention here are minerals that help with detoxification, help with inflammation. So selenium being one. Selenium is a very antioxidant mineral. So it helps fight off free radicals, helps with cellular health, can repair cellular damage. So it can help with the overall inflammation. And then zinc, which I haven't mentioned yet. Zinc is another one that helps detoxification. Magnesium, which I have mentioned. Iron and copper. All of these are kind of these big detox minerals that help with our phases of detox in the liver. So what does this look like? Yes, of course, you can supplement with all these. I'm always about the food first mindset. So I'm going to talk about where you can get it from foods. And of course, you can supplement it as well to kind of fill in the gaps. And magnesium is one of those. I want to say this. Magnesium is one of those I will always recommend. So if you don't take any other supplements, magnesium, there's a few that I always recommend as like maintenance for people, but magnesium is one of those that I will always recommend supplementing just because so many of us are deficient. And it's one of those that can be hard to get all from food because our soil has been depleted of so many minerals, including magnesium, which is a lot of where we get magnesium from. So supplement, but also let's talk about food. So for potassium, we'll talk about potassium first. Potassium is one of those minerals that, yes, we can supplement, but your body kind of has a threshold. So while, yes, you can supplement it up to a certain point, your body's not going to absorb all of it from supplements. Bananas, avocados, coconut water, those are going to be the best sources of magnesium. Are there others? Of course, there are others, but those are the ones, the three things that have the highest amounts. So it's the easiest to get it. Sodium, I mention this in every live that I do because, again, I could get on my soapbox and talk about sodium for forever. But I have a whole episode about sodium if you haven't watched it, and the kind of the misconceptions and all that. Sodium, our bodies need sodium. And I know a lot of us are concerned about sodium for high blood pressure and different reasons like that. Sodium, you want to get it from the right place is the bottom line that I'm going to leave it at in this conversation. Sodium, you want to get it from a good, unrefined, high quality sea salt, something like Celtic sea salt. The other brand I recommend is Redmond. It comes from the Great Salt Lake, so it's real mineral rich salt. That's where you want to get your sodium. Magnesium, when we're talking about food sources. Leafy greens are a great source of magnesium, nuts and seeds. That's going to be the best place to get magnesium. Things like pumpkin seeds, that's a really good source. Hemp seeds. We're talking about selenium. The easiest, best way to get selenium is Brazil nuts. And literally you can eat one Brazil nut a day and get your day's worth of selenium. It's so easy to get selenium from food. Now you can get it from, there's other like seafood sources of selenium. So that's another way you can get it. But Brazil nuts are so easy and simple. I always just say that. People need more selenium. It helps with healthy thyroid. It's anti-inflammatory mineral. So you can get it from there. Now we're looking at iron. We're looking at copper. Sorry, copper is going to come from a lot of plant-based foods, things like legumes, whole grains. That's a really good source of copper. So plant-based foods. Zinc, again, nuts and seeds, seafood. Those are going to be really good sources of zinc. I've already talked about magnesium. Iron can come from seafood, from animal-based products. You can supplement. If you're a plant-based person, then you can get it from things like legumes, things like lentils. Mung beans are a really good source of iron. Now, there's like a whole conversation people like to have about what type of iron is most absorbable from animal-based or plant-based, whatever. If you suspect that you're low on iron, get it tested. Don't supplement with iron unless you've had like a blood lab or something done to look at your iron levels. Supplementing with iron can be a bit dangerous. It can mess up certain things in the gut. So you want to make sure you're only supplementing it if you've done testing with a practitioner, with a functional practitioner, doctor, or something to know that you're deficient. We can easily get iron from our food though. And I am a firm believer. I was hardcore plant-based for over 12 years and I was never deficient in iron. So you can get iron from plant-based foods. If you're worried about it, then you can throw in some animal-based foods and get the iron too. That being said, all of those are ways you can get these minerals, and all of these minerals are supporting functions in the body where your energy is flowing as a manifester and tackling these common chronic symptoms. The ones I mentioned before: hormonal issues, inflammation, blood sugar dysregulation, high blood pressure. So just to give you the rundown again of the minerals for this particular energy type, it's sodium and potassium, it's magnesium, we all need, boron and vitamin K, which again, I know vitamin K is not a mineral, but I wanted to throw it in there as well. Selenium, zinc, iron, and copper. Those are going to be the ones that help with the detoxification. They help with the inflammation. They help with what's needed for balanced hormones. It helps with blood sugar dysregulation. Now, if you saw my post I did earlier today, I feel like I want to make a disclaimer here because we can take supplements till the cows come home, but if we haven't addressed what's happening in your life that's causing your hormones to be out of whack, your supplements aren't the magic fix, right? Yes, supplements can be taken to help restore balance and function and support things in the body, but there's work required on your part too to help with your nervous system, your blood sugar, all these other pieces. So I want to say that too, as a manifestor, if you're a manifestor listening, since this training was specifically about manifestors and mineral balancing for manifestors, like, yes, the anger is your not self-esteem, and that's something that's going to come up for you a lot. And it's not about never feeling the anger. It's not about never feeling the not self-esteem. It's about how can we use that, a little bit of curiosity to figure out, okay, where am I misaligned? Where do I need to pivot? Where do I need to shift? What do I need to delegate? How do I need to shift how I'm doing something or what I'm doing? rather than getting stuck in that anger and letting it just get buried and buried and buried and buried. So it's just more of, again, it's like this compass to help us, and it's to bring up curiosity, like, like, why am I feeling this? What is happening in my day-to-day that's bringing out this emotion? And so it's bringing in that curiosity to figure out why it's happening, where it's coming from, and then taking the actions that need to be done to help kind of steer you back into alignment while balancing the physical body with these pieces that I was just talking about. So it's kind of this multifaceted approach to, again, it's not about like getting out of the anger as quickly as possible, but it's just navigating it, understanding it, creating ways to help bring balance into the body while we're figuring out what needs to shift. So that is part 1 of mineral balancing for your human design types. Today was about manifestors. I would love to hear from the manifestors out there. If you're a manifestor, comment, let me know your takeaways. I will be back later. So the next one is going to be for my generators. So I know there's a lot of generators out there listening, so it's going to be for you. Love to know your questions, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's @TheHopePedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.